All right, what's going on, everyone? There has been a lot of talk recently about a potential Russian false flag attack in Ukraine. Here's what that could mean at a very high level. So, the problem or the challenge with false flag attacks is that they don't have to convince everybody that something happened, just some people for a relatively short period of time. Now, the history of false flag attacks goes back to naval warfare, where a ship would raise a false flag of another nation to try to trick their adversary. Over time, the definition is kind of adapted and broadened to mean any act carried out disguised in a manner to place the blame on another party. Now, there's a ton of reasons a country might want to carry out a false flag attack. Could be to shore up international support, rally a domestic population, use it as an excuse to expand or escalate a war, etc. Now, one of the most well known examples of a false flag attack happened at the outbreak of World War II in Europe. It was known as Operation Himmler. This was a group of Nazi SS soldiers that dressed in Polish uniforms and stormed a radio station on the German-Polish border. They they broadcast some anti-German messaging, even brought in a body of a Polish sympathizer that they had killed and left him there to make it seem more realistic. And this false flag attack was used as part of a broader narrative for the Nazi justification for the invasion of Poland the following day. So, as of late, Russia has announced concerns that Ukraine is going to be detonating a dirty bomb in the eastern part of the country. Now, a dirty bomb is an improvised nuclear weapon. It's essentially a conventional warhead or a conventional explosive that's used to spread radioactive material. Now, it's awful for anybody in the near vicinity or in the fallout area where this might happen. But the larger threat, potentially, is the reaction to that sort of event, I'll call it. So, in a perfect world, an attack like this, a dirty bomb, everybody would pause and cordon off the area. Don't touch anything, right? There's going to be an investigation, maybe by a third party, to go in and find out exactly what happened before any sort of follow-on actions are taken. But war is messy, and realistically, countries react much faster than we would in a perfect world. I mean, look at the USS Maine and the Gulf of Tonkin incident here in the United States, things from our history. We're still trying to figure out today what exactly happened during each one of those events. But at the time, it was more than enough to escalate or enter a war. So the question for a potential false flag attack in Ukraine: how long will Russia and the Russian people wait before responding? Then we go down a rabbit hole, right? So what does a Russian response look like? If they feel like they've been the target of a radioactive attack on either their territory or close to their territory, is there a push domestically to really up the ante and carry out substantial conventional or nuclear strikes against Ukraine? Does that retaliation by Russia, which again potentially could happen very, very quickly, is that enough to prompt a response from the United States or NATO? And then does Russia have to respond to the response from the United States or NATO? So you can see how all of this could start happening. This whole process could get in motion to the point where it can't stop long before we have the full picture of what actually happened during the, in this case, potential dirty bomb going off. And that is why, even if we're on the lookout for a false flag attack, they can still be so incredibly dangerous.